And Wojtek Wolski, he scores the first goal in franchise history on Ben Bishop. There's going to be a trivia fact for you. What's going on, everybody, and welcome to the inaugural episode number 1 of your Alaska Ice Eagles NHL 21 custom franchise mode. Now, there is a lot to unpack. There is actually a ton. So this video is just going to be an introduction to what this franchise is going to be. If you've watched former franchise modes, it's going to be very similar to the Seattle Storm Bears. Now, talking about Seattle, I want to talk about the name of this team, the Alaska Ice Eagles. Doesn't really roll off the tongue, right? People said that about the Seattle Storm Bears. They thought it was a stupid name. What the hell's a Storm Bear? People were skeptical about the Seattle Storm Bears, and look where it is now. It's an iconic franchise mode, one of the best I've ever done personally, if not the best. It's up there with Quebec. That was a really enjoyable franchise mode as well. But we're here in Alaska, a new franchise. But wait, there's not only one new franchise in the NHL, no. No. I hinted at it in the teaser video as well. We have 2 new franchises in the NHL, the Newfoundland Growlers. So we got the Alaska Ice Eagles and the Newfoundland Growlers. Now again, there is a ton to unpack here, so get comfy, grab a snack, and get ready for this. Take all the info in, because this is going to be something you guys are going to have to help me out with. If this is your first time watching one of my franchise modes, hey, how are ya? Welcome. It's very much a fan-orientated series. I've been 3 episodes in, and someone gave me a really good idea, and I restarted the franchise mode over again. That's how much I really take on fan interaction. So if you don't usually comment or you're quiet, maybe change that up for this franchise mode. I usually feature 4 or 5 comments at the beginning of every single episode. If you have any ideas, any suggestions, anything, please let me know, and I will more than likely feature one of your comments in this franchise mode. But here we are, Alaska. All right, let's go over this. Let's go over my crazy idea that turned into the Alaska Ice Eagles. It's really no surprise I do my best work. I have the most fun when there's a custom franchise mode. This one is as custom as it gets. We have 45 plus created players. We'll get into that as well. There's a lot to go over. So I have the most fun when it's outrageous, obviously. Alaska and Newfoundland are in the NHL. What the hell's going on? So I wanted to have one team in the East and one team in the West. And I wanted to go head to head with this team. I wanted to see who's going to win a Stanley Cup first, who's going to have the best record, who's going to have the best players. So we are going to go head-to-head with the Newfoundland Growlers. Now, Newfoundland, they're already a East Coast Hockey League team. I called up my man Gary Bettman. I said, yo, Gary, what's it going to take to bring in Newfoundland to the NHL? And he's like, well, you know, I really want to get Florida out of the NHL, so if you convince Florida to leave, you can have Newfoundland. So I convinced the Florida Panthers to jump ship, and now we have Newfoundland. That's my best Gary Bettman impersonation. Poor guy. So Florida is now out of the league, as well the Arizona Coyotes. 2 teams that have struggled, I guess would be the nice term to put it. Struggled to put asses in the seats, struggled to get season ticket holders. I mean, the arena in Arizona is just in a terrible spot. The Arizona Coyotes are in a terrible spot just in general, actually, which is terrible to say, but it is how it is. They are not looking good right now with their recent draft picks. They've obviously had their draft picks taken away from them, but we'll talk how the draft picks are going to work as well. There's more to talk about that. So Arizona and Florida, they're gone. Now, what happened to their players, you might ask? What happened to Barkov? What happened to Huberdeau? What happened to Oliver Ekman-Larsson? Well, I thought, let's have a feeding frenzy. Talk about free agent frenzy. Here it is. Every member of the Florida Panthers and every member of the Arizona Coyotes. They're here in free agency. Ekman Larson, Kessel, they're all here. They're all in free agency, everyone. Aaron Ekblad only wants $2.8 million because it's the start of the next year, so obviously they want to play. So I want to give every single team, Clayton Keller, there's another one, Derek Stepan, Keith Yandel, I wanted to give every single team a fair chance to get Barkov. I wanted to give every team a fair chance to get Keller. So that's what I did. I threw them all in free agency, and it's going to be really interesting to see what teams get what player. Like, imagine the Edmonton Oilers sign Alex Barkov. Like, imagine that. Or Pittsburgh signs Huberdeau, or Nashville gets Oliver Ekman-Larsson. So that's going to be really fun to find out. We might actually find out in this video, depending on how long we go here. So in this video, we're going to go over a few things, not everything in depth because there's a lot to unpack, but I want to go over the upcoming year one draft. That's when the franchise mode is really going to kickstart. That's when it's going to get started. We're going to build our future here in Alaska, and it's going to start with 1, 2, or 3 of the 45 plus created players for the year one NHL entry draft. Now, I'm not going to spoil all of them because I really want to have a year one draft special, but here's kind of what I did. I created a bunch of players, over 40 players for the year one draft. So each team is going to get 1, maybe 2, maybe 3, depending on how the draft works. I think the lowest rated player is 82 overall, medium elite. Most of them are in the franchise category, either low, medium, or high franchise. For example, Victor Smashkov, the 6'9", 290 enforcer, straight out of Russia. He is high franchise, 87 overall out of the gate. So he is very much elite. He is insane already. Owen Power, he is the upcoming consensus #1 pick. He's a big defenseman out of the University of Michigan, good Canadian kid. There's so many players I created. Pete Correa, Felix Pox, the stinkiest man in the NHL, Max Kazov, Zion Bertuzzi, Agent C, Cedric Corey, if you know, you know. Playing with Austin Matthews' old team, the Zurich Lions there, so that's pretty awesome. But there's so many, there's just so many. I'm not going to spoil them all. There's just a ton. I really want to have a draft special where we go through every single player. I mean, there's some insane guys like Zerg von Wichvenberg. What a name, right? He's a beast. We got Mario Gretzky. But one thing I want to talk about is the goaltenders. So I made a handful of goalies. Chow, Morrow, Hunter Lightning. That's another one. Alexei Vitek. There's a few others here. So they drop in the draft. I've seen Hunter Lightning, who is 6'8", by the way, playing over there in Finland with the Pelicans in the Liga. He dropped to the 3rd round one time, and he's, I think, 87 overall out of the draft. So if we could steal a goalie in the 3rd round, that would be awesome. So I thought that was the most fair way to get things done, is to put all these players in the year one draft, let everyone have their chance to draft 1 or 2 of these insane players, and then the franchise mode really is going to start kicking off. Now, as for the draft picks, again, there's a lot to unpack, so stay with me here. As for the draft picks, the Arizona Coyotes, yes, they've had some awful instances where they've rescinded their picks with Mitchell Miller. They've gotten draft picks taken away. So to make it fair for every single team, I just put the draft pick ownership to classic. So everyone starts with a fresh slate. Everyone starts with the exact amount of picks you're supposed to have, 1 through 7 in every single round. Starting now, teams can trade picks. I wouldn't recommend it if any other teams are listening. Don't trade picks because the year one draft is ridiculous. You want as many picks as you can. I would love to get a few more. However, I don't think that's going to be possible because our roster is awful. It's 64 overall. We're not good. We're not a good team, but that's by design. The exact same thing with the Newfoundland Growlers. They're not good either. They're exactly 64 overall. So let's get into what our roster looks like. It's not pretty though. I promise you this. It's not pretty. It's a bunch bunch of players over in Europe, players who have been floating around European leagues, were in free agency. I just kind of threw a bunch of random players together because none of these players are going to be here year 5, year 6 when we're dominating and we're winning Stanley Cups. I mean, maybe they will. Maybe a guy like Tyler Steenbergen will grow, 22 years old, 71 overall, but I highly doubt it. So let's go over the roster here. Michael Raffle, we got the Raffle brothers, his older brother Thomas Raffle as well. But Michael Raffle, you've known him from the Philadelphia Flyers. He's most recently been playing over in the, I think he's playing in the Swedish Allsvenskan League, I'm pretty sure. He's Austrian born, obviously so is his brother. I thought it'd be kind of cool, bring him over. We got the World Junior GOAT, Tyler Steenbergen, once scored an awesome goal for Team Canada to go ahead and solidify gold for Canada, which was pretty awesome. I'll never forget that goal. Valentin Zykov, he was a former draft pick of the Canes, went to the Vegas Golden Knights, the Hurricanes. He's kind of been around. I think he played in Edmonton. He's 25 years old. He's still good. There's still some opportunity for him. We have Thomas Raffle. We got Emile Pedersen, not Elias Pedersen. This is Elias's older brother, if you didn't know. Kind of a fun fact. A former 6th rounder from the Nashville Predators. Wojtek Wolski, former Colorado Avalanche 1st rounder. I don't know why he doesn't have a picture. He should have a picture. It's kind of weird. But the Polish Canadian, there he is. Anton Rodin, ex-Vancouver Canuck. Jacob Josephson, ex-New Jersey Devil. And Jussi Jokinen, former Vancouver Canuck legend. We got Nicholas Bergfors, who was actually pretty good for the New Jersey Devils in like 08, if I believe. Oh, sorry, 09. Yeah, he had 44 points, and then he had one more year, and then he just pieced out, basically. So kind of weird, but Nicholas Bergfors, there he is. Bunch of random guys I just threw in here. As for the defense, it's actually pretty good. We have Victor Soderstrom here, who was the 11th overall pick in 2019. I was actually at that draft, but Victor Soderstrom, he's going to be really good for us. I basically left the AHL team alone. I wanted to have some prospects. Now, unfortunately, Arizona doesn't have that many prospects in the pipeline. The Newfoundland Growlers, however, they have a much better prospect pool than us. So we kind of got the worst hand here. But Victor Soderstrom, he's going to be really good for us. We already have a +5, which is awesome. I don't really want to get attached to any of these players because I assume at the end of next year or the year after, they're all going to be gone. I mean, how can I get attached to a face like Alex Goodbranson? The guy's god ugly. He's a big dude. Eric Goodbranson's older brother or younger brother. I don't know. He's ugly, though. We got Nyberg here, and then between the pipes, we have Ken Appleby and Justin Peters. Now, if you've watched my videos for a long time, here's a trivia question for you. Ken Appleby, former franchise mode legend. What franchise mode was it that Ken Appleby was our starter? If you know who Ken Appleby is, or you remember what franchise mode he's from, you are officially an OG to the channel. We also got Justin Peters here, former Carolina Hurricanes goaltender. He bounced around a lot. I mean, AHL, NHL, he's been over in Europe the past couple years. 34 years old, makes me feel so damn old. But that's our roster, and it's going to change a whole bunch, so don't get attached to any of these players. I mean, I can see Steenbergen, Zykov, maybe this guy, he could be good for us. Eric Gustafson, no, it's not the Eric Gustafson of the Calgary Flames. It's another Eric Gustafson who played for the Flyers, I think, in like 2013. Yeah, so a different Eric Gustafson, but spelt the same, and they're both from Sweden. Fun fact. So let's have a look at the Newfoundland Growlers roster. Now, this roster is going to change. This is not what the day one roster is going to look like, because I know they have some players that are better down there in the American Hockey League, so no one is really too important here. Steve Bernier, former Canucks legend. Eric Condra, Ottawa Senator legend. Tuukka Rask, younger brother Jonas Rask. It's kind of a theme. I threw a lot of brothers who never made it. As for the defense, here's how it looks. Carl Alsner, Canucks and Maple Leafs legend Jordan Subban, and another brother who never made it. Jonas Enroth, former Tampa Bay goalie, I think. Did he play for Tampa? Maybe. I know he played for the Leafs. I thought he was with Tampa. Maybe I'm wrong, but he did play for the Leafs. I do remember that. He's bounced around a little bit. Jonas Enroth. No, he played for the Kings, didn't he? and the Buffalo Sabres. Why did I think he played for Tampa? I don't know. Maybe he did. Maybe I'm crazy. And backing up Jonas Enroth is Jeff Glass, the walking trivia question. Now, if you're wondering, what does that mean? Well, back in the day when there was the lockout, the World Juniors were stacked. There was Crosby, there was Bergeron, there was Shea Weber. The team was just ridiculous. Like, I think it had Jeff Carter, Mike Richards. I'm just trying to think of everyone else. There's so many insane NHLers, so many future Hall of Famers, Corey Perry, Ryan Getzlaf. Like, it was just ridiculous. But Jeff Glass was actually the goalie. He didn't have to do a whole lot. He basically just made the saves he had to make. I think it was a stupid number. He allowed like a very low amount of goals. They really didn't have any problems in the World Juniors, and Jeff Glass was just a lucky goalie that happened to be the right age, and he won gold, obviously, with Canada, and that was a rout in the World Juniors. But Jeff Glass, fun trivia fact, he was the goalie for the World Junior team with Crosby and Bergeron. So like I mentioned earlier, the Panthers AHL team was a little bit better than ours. They had a few more prospects in their pipeline, and I'll show you a few here. Anton Lundell, they got Noel, they got Heppo Niemi, Henrik Borgstrom, so those guys are going to make an immediate impact with that team. I did go ahead and remove Spencer Knight, though. I didn't want them to have that much of an advantage, have a medium elite goalie right out the gate. I want them to either have to draft one or figure it out on their own. So Spencer Knight is a free agent, so you're going to see a lot of players in free agency find new teams. It's going to be really interesting to see, though, what players go with what team. There is some players here who have already signed contracts. Jake DeBrusk, Ethan Bear, I know that. Unfortunately, EA hasn't updated the rosters yet, so I didn't really want to go through and manually do it. So year number one really isn't going to matter anyways, so I'm going to take it for what it is. Year one is going to kind of be just a quick simulation in episode number 2. We're going to get the entire thing done, and then year number 3, we're going to hop into the draft, which is going to be the one that everyone's going to want to see what's going to happen. It's the most ridiculous draft in NHL history. But here's everyone in free agency. Obviously, Casey Middlestat. A bunch of guys are RFAs. So obviously, all the RFA guys are going to be with their original team. They just have to sign them whenever that is, whether it's at the end of this year or next year. But there's so many UFAs out there. So a part of me wants to, get a guy like Clayton Keller for the future. A part of me really wants to sign a guy like Jonathan Huberdeau, but I'm not. I'm going to wait until the preseason's over, and we're going to do that right now. I'm going to get the preseason done. I want to see what players sign with what team, and then I'm going to leave it up to you guys. Should we be able to sign a player with what's left? I gave everyone a week and a half, 2 weeks to go ahead and really go after Barkov and go after all the big guns. I want to see what scrap is left, or if you guys think we should just straight up wait and see what happens next year in the draft and free agency, make it as hard as we possibly can, and we don't sign anybody. We're just going to get the preseason done. None of this matters. I'm wondering if there's anything else I haven't mentioned yet. Again, there's a lot to unpack. I worked really hard on this behind the scenes while we were doing our Buffalo franchise mode, where we eventually won a Stanley Cup. You'll love to see it. We are going to be focusing a lot more on scouting and a lot more on drafting in this franchise mode. So if you're looking for that, that's definitely something that we are going to do a lot more of. We didn't do any of it in Buffalo because we were only there for a few years. All right, so not everyone is actually signed, but looks like the LA Kings got Christian Fisher. Ottawa gets Clayton Keller. Oh my goodness. The New Jersey Devils sign Oliver Ekman-Larsson. Wow, okay, so they got PK Subban and OEL there. The LA Kings signed Barrett Hayton. Damn. LA gets another insane prospect. Oh my god. The Columbus Blue Jackets, they re-up with Pierre-Luc Dubois. So everyone got a 1-year deal except for Hayton, it looks like. Barkov goes to Nashville. Oh man, we're gonna have to look at their roster. Jacob Chikrin goes to Boston. Okay, I like that. Columbus gets Aaron Ekblad. Wow. Okay. Jonathan Huberdeau goes to LA. Oh my god. That is gonna be ridiculous. And then Detroit signed Timashov. So that's not everyone. There's still some big pieces out there. Let's see who's still out there. Now this is where we are going to maybe sign a couple players. Maybe. Again, I want to wait and see what you guys are going to say, but Kessel's still out there. Strome's an RFA. So basically, I want to go after UFAs. Kessel, Hoffman. So yeah, I mean, I guess all the big guys are kind of gone. Yandel still out there. I mean, there's still some good players, that's for sure. You know, maybe you should give a contract to Christian Dvorak or something, but it doesn't really matter. Like, after year number 1, all these players are going to be trash anyways. Now, there is something I was thinking of. It could give us some sort of an advantage. Say we sign Keith Yandel and we flip him at the deadline for a first and a second. That could be 2 franchise players. So I don't really want to cheese the system like that because, again, we use that first and that second to pick a high franchise and a medium elite goaltender in this year's NHL draft. It's kind of cheating the system. So a part of me just really wants to leave the team as it is, have the best chance to pick number 1. I mean, maybe we don't pick number 1. Maybe we lose the draft lottery and fall to 4. There's all these things to think about. I mean, Bobrovsky's still out there. Boston's looking pretty good there with McAvoy and Chychrun. Obviously, no more Zdeno Chara. Aaron Ekblad joins Seth Jones and Zach Werenski. That is a ridiculous defensive pairing there with David Savard. Oh my goodness. LA's got Huberdeau and Kopitar. Oh boy. Imagine once Hayton's really good, once Quinton Byfield is up there, they're going to be nasty. Here's just an updated look here at the Newfoundland Growlers. Now, I was worried that Newfoundland was going to sign Barkov or Huberdeau or something like that, but they didn't make any moves. But Borgstrom, Scott Wilson, Eric Condra, that's how their team is looking. They move on from Jeff Glass, unfortunately. They bring up a 74 overall goalie. Okay. Hate to see it. Yeah, hate to see it. OEL and PK Subban out there in New Jersey. Damn. But Nashville with Forsberg, Barkov, and Arvidsson. Wow. And then Johansson, Duchesne, Calle Yarncrow. Yep, that is a really, really good top 6. And once Tolvanen's ready to go for the top 6, oh my God, watch out for Nashville. It was a 1-year deal at $5.1 million. So these players could re-enter free agency in the next year here because a lot of them just signed the 1-year deal. The Ottawa Senators got Clayton Keller on a 1-year, $2.5 million contract. Oh my God. I was kind of hoping that Barkov or Huberdeau would have signed with Pittsburgh or Washington to play with Ovi and Crosby, but that's how everything's looking here. Those are all the big fish that signed. There's still a lot of really crazy players out there, but I think for this franchise mode, all we need to do is get year number 1 simulated and get it out of the way. Because like I mentioned, the franchise mode is really going to begin in the year 1 NHL draft. So when's our first game against Newfoundland? Since they're all the way in the east, and they're like the furthest east you can go from Alaska in North America anyways, we're probably not going to play them a lot. And unfortunately, we don't play them until right after the trade deadline. Oh my God. So we play them 1 time this year? Oh no, we play them twice. Okay, so it looks like we're going to play them about twice a year. And I would love to meet them in the Stanley Cup final in 10 years. That's for sure. Now, I got to give a shout out to Trevor. He's the guy who puts together our stats. This guy does it for free, does it out of the kindness of his heart. Absolute gentleman. So the first link in the description is always going to be a link to the stats. If you remember our Shanghai and our former franchise modes with Quebec, he was on it. This guy kept track of everything, and he's doing that with this franchise mode as well. So shout out to Trevor. It's awesome to see what he's doing. He's making this franchise mode a lot more fun, and he's just doing it just for fun. So shout out to Trevor once again. Thank you for doing this. A part of me wants to get the first month of simulation done. This video is going to be kind of short because, like I said, I didn't want to get too much done. I wanted to hear your guys' thoughts before we got too crazy. So I might get the first year done because I also want to see what players are going to sign where, because there's still a bunch of players in free agency. And I know I said I'll leave it up to you guys to see if we're going to sign anyone, but I really don't think we should. I think that would be cheesing the system. And I said it before a few times already. The franchise mode is really going to start at the year 1 draft. So I don't know, I'm just looking like, yeah, we could bring in Phil Kessel, but for what? He's not going to want to come play in Alaska. Hot dog Phil? No way. So how about this? If I do sign anyone, say Connor Garland or Anthony Ciu, Jack Roslovic, Nick Schultz, Luke Kunin maybe, Jack Roslovic, someone like that, if we sign them, I can't trade them at the draft. Maybe we should make that rule. I think we can all agree. Ooh, Owen Tippett is out there. Man, I would love to get a guy like Owen Tippett. Man, that would be awesome. So if we make that rule, I think everyone would agree that that would be the best way to go about things. I might bring Owen Tippett in. He might be my one player since he's young. He's 21 years old. He could be a big piece of this team. Okay, if it's meant to be, it's meant to be. I'm going to give it a week. If Owen Tippett is here in a week, I'm going to sign him. If not, hey, it's all good. We lost out, and then I'll get the next best player available. But I only want to sign one. I only want to sign one. So if he's here on the 11th, we'll go ahead and give him a contract, bring him to Alaska. So let's get game number 1 done. Game number 1. The inaugural game here against the Dallas Stars. Don't expect us to win. I don't expect us to do any sort of damage. We have the Raffle brothers. We got UC Jokinen. Oh god, this is going to be a bad year. Let's go. Game number 1. Who's going to score the first goal in Alaska history? Who's it going to be? Oh man, I'm excited to see. Who's it going to be here? Let's go. Period number 1. Oh wait, Nick Kamano scores on Justin Peters. Alex Radulov scores. Oh boy, this one could be bad. Alex Radulov scores from center ice. Oh my god. And Wojtek Wolski, he scores the first goal in franchise history on Ben Bishop. There's going to be a trivia fact for you. Wojtek Wolski, former first-round pick in Colorado to first goal scorer in Alaska. Wojtek Wolski. Period number 2. It's 3-1. I mean, we're being outshot 30-12. I got to show you guys the jerseys as well. We're going to do that. Maybe we can make a comeback. Oh my god, Tyler Steenbergen. Could you imagine we go into overtime? Power play? Can we please? Oh my god, I'm rooting for us to win here up against Dallas. I'm rooting for us. I'd love to go into OT and show you guys the jerseys. Oh, Tyler Seguin ruins the dream. We actually did better than I thought, but Tyler Steenbergen, big goal. We lose 4-2. Game number 2 is our home opener against the Anaheim Ducks. So Anaheim's coming all the way up to Alaska from nice weather to -1,000,000. And I'll show you guys the jerseys. We'll go ahead and show you guys the last couple minutes of this game, and then we'll go to the 11th. And if Owen Tippett's available, you know I'm going to sign him. But I can't trade him. That's the thing. All right, first period here, game number 2. It's 4-0. Oh boy. Trevor Zegras. All right, that's another one of the created players. So you're going to be seeing some players that were created that are playing in college. Trevor Zegras, Vasily Podkolzin, he's out there in Russia. Alex Romanov, he's the defenseman for the Montreal Canadiens. So you're going to see some players that you wouldn't usually see in a regular franchise mode. Trevor Zegras being one of them. 4-0 after 1. Buffalo Sabre legend Isaac Lundstrom. Period number 2. 5-1. Valentin Zykov, he scores a goal after Sam Steele makes it 5-1. Again, we're going to go in the last couple of minutes here. I want to show you guys the jerseys, show you guys the arena. We are getting pumped 6-1. Year number 1 is not going to be a fun one. We are going to get destroyed in most of the games that we play, but it's a marathon, not a sprint, okay? It's a marathon. Remember that. Just think of year number 7, year number 8, when we're crushing teams, winning Stanley Cups with our newfound franchise player that we get in the year 1 draft. So here is the jerseys. I went with light home and dark away. I know it's against the rules, but I did it anyways. We got our jersey here, and then here's our away jersey, which I really like, the black. And wait for it, wait for the alternates. Oh baby, those are beautiful. We decided to go with the eagle that the Capitals use. Obviously we're using their old logo just for fun, but that jersey, it's loud, it's fun, it's got Seattle Storm Bear vibes. Loving that jersey. Here we are in the igloo here in Alaska. That looked like it was almost an offside. Oh man, John Gibson almost let a flutter in there. There you go, the Alaska Ice Eagles. I like the jersey combo. It's a little bit out there. Oh, we're pulling the goalie. That's going to make a lot of sense with a minute left. Look at that setup here from Appleby. What a beast. Maybe you'll get to see our mascot, which is a hawk, and his name is Hockey. HAWK-Y. You see what I did there? So again, year number 1 is probably not going to be the most exciting year. We might get 10 wins, maybe. I mean, Anaheim, they're not a great team, and they pumped us 6-1. So I'm expecting us maybe to win 10 games, maybe. And I want to pick in the top 5, and then we're really going to get this bad boy going. So that's kind of a look at the jersey, look at the arena. We got Ken Appleby between the pipes. And that is an easy win for the Anaheim Ducks. It didn't even do captains either. We got to talk about our captains. Year number 1, it doesn't really matter. It's all going to get started at the year 1 NHL entry draft. All right, so before we end off this bad boy, how are we going to do here? 3-1 loss, 0-3. We're here at the 11th, and I said it's going to be a week. We are 0-3. How about Owen Tippett? Haha, see what I did there? Man, we're killing it with the puns today. Let's have a look here and see if Owen is here. See if we can get Owen Tippett to a contract. There's a lot of players still out there, so more than likely he is going to be available. UFA. Oh wait, he might be gone. Where is he? No, everyone's still here. He should be around. Oh no, is he gone? No, I think he's gone. Someone signed him. No. Oh man, that sucks. Yeah, he's gone. Owen Tippett is gonzo. That is unfortunate. Who signed him? Could you imagine if Newfoundland gave this guy a contract? I have to check. Who signed him? Ottawa signs Owen Tippett to a 3-year contract. Man, Ottawa's getting everyone. Clayton Keller, Owen Tippett. Oh man. Well, you know what? I said before I wasn't going to sign anyone, and I gave it a week. It just wasn't meant to be. Owen Tippett's over there in Ottawa, and we're still 0-3. So here's where I'm going to leave episode number 1. There's a lot to unpack. If you think we should sign anyone, let me know. It's going to have to be a UFA player. I want to get a young guy. There's no point in signing Zdeno Chara. Like, he's not going to want to come here. He obviously wants to go to a contender. So I'm looking at a guy like Connor Garland, maybe. He's young enough, 24 years old. Man, I really, really wish Owen Tippett would have stuck around for me. That's basically it. He's basically the only option. Like Madison Bowie. There's a few other players. If you guys want me to make it as hard as possible, we don't sign anyone, it's totally going to be up to you. So episode number 1, what do you guys think? Leave me your thoughts in the comments. In the next episode, we're more than likely just going to get the entire year done, and then we are going to do the draft in year number 3. So if you have any comments, positive, negative, let me know in the comments. As for our captain here, we got Jussi Jokinen as the assistant. We got Legson as the other A, and then Michael Raffle as the captain. I don't hate that, I guess. Sure. Again, this team is going to completely change in a year or two. So thank you for watching. I'm excited to start off this journey with the Alaska Ice Eagles. A lot went into this, so I'd appreciate it if you could like the video and show some love down there in the comments. If you have any sort of thoughts, maybe something you want to do to make the series better, let me know, and I will definitely take it into consideration. But we're here, Alaska versus the Newfoundland Growlers. Wait a second, hold on. How are they doing? Do they have a win yet? No, they're 0-1. Okay, makes sense. I think we're going to win maybe 10 games this year. It's going to be a grind. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys in episode number 2.